You ever feel something breaking inside of you before you even understand what it is? Like a quiet fracture, growing slowly until one day it shatters everything you thought you knew? That's how it began for me. My name is Elena, and my life, my perfect life, was never what it seemed. When I met Daniel, I thought I'd found forever. He was everything I wanted: charming, ambitious, thoughtful. We built a life together. Our days were filled with laughter, promises, dreams whispered over coffee in the mornings, and quiet conversations at night. I trusted him with my heart, my soul, my everything. I thought love was enough to withstand any storm. But storms don't announce themselves. They come quietly. A text left open, a late night at work that becomes too frequent, a phone call answered in another room. I noticed the small things first, things I brushed aside because I wanted to believe. I wanted to trust. But deep down, a quiet voice kept telling me something was wrong. One night, I heard it. A voice, not mine, whispering on the phone. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone was enough to cut me to the bone. Something was happening behind my back. I didn't confront him right away. Instead, I began watching. I didn't want to fight. I wanted proof. One evening, I followed him. My heart pounded so loud, I was certain he could hear it in my chest. He drove somewhere I didn't recognize, a quiet cafe tucked in the corner of the city. And there she was, Sophia. I watched as they laughed, leaned close, hands touching in a way lovers touch when no one is watching. A kiss sealed it. My heart stopped, then shattered. I recorded it all. Not to hurt him, not yet, because I knew I needed something solid, something undeniable. Later, I learned who she was. Sophia, Daniel's secret. And she wasn't single. She had a husband, Mark, who loved her without knowing what she was doing behind his back. The betrayal wasn't just mine. It was Mark's too. For days, I wrestled with what to do. Confront him now? Destroy us immediately? Or wait? But confrontation would only give him a chance to hide, to deny, to twist the truth. No, if I wanted real justice, I had to be patient. And patience, I realized, was my weapon. I found Mark. I approached him quietly, almost by accident. I told him what I knew. At first, he looked at me with disbelief, then anger, then a deep, burning need for the truth. We became allies without speaking it aloud. Two wounded souls bound by betrayal, both wanting to make them pay. The first step was gathering proof. Together, we collected every detail: messages, photos, hotel receipts, recordings. Every lie they told was now evidence. But proof alone wasn't enough. We needed timing. We needed their ruin to be complete, undeniable. And then we found it. Daniel's big night. The corporate gala, where he would present his work to the industry, where his reputation would shine or fall. He didn't know it yet, but it would be the stage for his undoing. Mark and I planned with precision. Step 1, gather every piece of evidence. Step 2, infiltrate the event. Step 3, expose them at the exact moment when all eyes were on him. Not before, not after. At the height of his pride. I wore my mask perfectly that night. Daniel greeted me with a smile, unaware I had become something he would never recognize again. I played the devoted wife, smiled, supported, loved. And all the while, I was the architect of his downfall. As he spoke to the crowd, the slideshow behind him began. At first, numbers and charts. Then, images. Subtle at first. A hand held, a kiss, then more. Screenshots of messages, receipts, faces of deception. The crowd murmured. Daniel froze. His confident tone cracked. He tried to speak, to deny, but the evidence was relentless. Then came the video, our final blow. His voice confessing what he thought was hidden forever. The room went silent. Cameras clicked. Phones recorded. His empire collapsed under the weight of his own lies. Mark stepped forward, calm, collected, delivering the final truth with a cold voice. His voice shook the air with justice. Daniel's name was no longer one of success. It was a scandal. His pride destroyed. His life in pieces. Daniel begged me afterward, at the door, in the silence of our home, pleading for forgiveness, for another chance. But the woman standing there was no longer the naive wife who trusted blindly. I looked at him and said the only truth I could. I owed him nothing. He walked away, and I felt nothing but peace. Months later, Mark and I met again. No hatred, no bitterness, just understanding. We were survivors now. And I realized something I hadn't before. Betrayal wasn't the end of my story. It was my awakening. I began living for myself again. I painted again, traveled, laughed. Not for him, not for them, but for me. I reclaimed my life, my peace, my power. Revenge isn't about destruction, it's about rebirth. And mine was complete. So if you've ever been betrayed, remember this. Betrayal might hurt you, but it doesn't have to define you. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are defined by what you choose to do next. And my choice was clear. My revenge wasn't just about them. It was about me. They thought their secret affair would be the ending. But they were wrong. My revenge was. And that revenge was my beginning.